don't have?
Pragati, tell me something. A lot of times, yes, I have also faced this whole situation where people think mental health is something that you need not do anything regularly about. Normally, if you are not senile, you are supposedly mentally strong to run your life and to make decisions and to do your normal functioning. But again, on day one, when we were discussing on uh, various little things that we fail in our day-to-day living, and that is basically coming from a state of mental health.
Absolutely, because nothing is good or bad. It's our thinking which makes it so.
Totally, totally.
Somebody may be run over by the bus and feel, thank God I survived. It's just, my leg which has been hurt. And somebody may feel, what a bad day. Today I was run over by the bus. So it's all about perspectives.
Here, you say again. Can I say I'm clean today because I bathed yesterday? No, I got to bathe
Now,
every
today is
single
the
day.
era of deos, so some people do believe that.
Okay, fine. You need to use your deos also every day.
Yes.
You can't use, like, you can't run through today using the deos yesterday.
Absolutely, because daily regular hygiene is something which is just not optional.
So the same thing is relevant for our mental hygiene or health.
Absolutely. And if we just take care to just remove, thoughts which are not very clean, for want of a better word, or what is an unclean thought? That brings us to a very pertinent topic.
Absolutely. And this we will discover through self-awareness. Why do we need self-awareness?
We need self-awareness. It's like, when I have to go for an exam and I know, what I don't know, I feel very confident. Or even in life, if I know if I have to, let's say, cook a meal, if I know what ingredients are there at hand, it's very easy for me to cook.
So basically, knowing myself, and which will obviously lead to knowing another.
Yes.
That is self-awareness. Now, what would that do to me?
It will help me in better communication, because a lot of times we have misunderstandings because we don't understand what the other person is thinking or saying. Now, if I don't know myself, how do I know what messages am I giving the other person? Am I able to actually come across as the person that I want to? Or has my communication been hampered by things which I don't even know about?
See, this communicating better would obviously lead to something very important, very pertinent in all our lives. That is improving better relationships, improving our relationships, making them
More help.
I think more optimal, healthier, and that is something that we are all looking for.
And the funny thing is, if I really had to describe an optimal, helpful relationship or a healthy relationship, I would say where I feel that I'm helped by my loved ones, my friends, my family, my co-worker, where I feel that they are very helpful in my own growth or in my journey of life.
Yeah, but to have that, I need to communicate. I need to communicate
Yes.
that, listen, I need you to help me. I need you to help me in improving our relationship.
Absolutely. I need active listening. I need to be open to feedback. If people are telling me, from what perspective are they talking about? Is it something which would be helpful to me in improving myself? Is it something which is very relevant in my life today? And it'll help me know of those blind spots. Like, for example, if I have a smudge here, you can see it, but I don't. Now, if you just told me, Prakti, you have a little bit of a smudge here, I would just wipe it off and it would be so much nicer.
So this brings us to a very, very pertinent again point in our conversation today. Stop mind guessing another in a relationship.
Just ask. You'll be surprised by just asking how much of information can go through and how happy you could be. That zone of free activity that we talk about, where I'm comfortable sharing myself and I'm comfortable with whatever the other wants to tell me. There is hardly any ambiguity between the real me and the ideal me.
This, I think, this whole gray area starts reducing there. That, like, it's, you see, there are certain people whom we come across, all of us in our day-to-day living, who are like living enigmas.
Yes.
We just don't know them, and very often on a closer look, you'll see even they don't know themselves.
Absolutely. It's like they have a mask on all the time. I'm feeling sad, but I want to show, oh, all is good in my life. Can you imagine how tiring that facade would be?
Or a lot of times I've also seen there's something good happening to people. People need to celebrate that. People need to have fun about that. People need to talk to their near
Yes,
dear ones
yes.
about it. But they're not able to celebrate. They're not able to bring out that happiness.
Yeah, because they are very unsure of how the other person would receive it.
And also whether I should be happy or not. Do I deserve to be happy or not?
Or what if people think that I'm showing off?
So a lot of times all these thoughts are counterproductive.
Absolutely. You know what happens is then it's like a war which you're waging inside. It's so tiring. Rather than really doing productive work, you're only second guessing the other person.
And another thing that happens with this that I've seen in people is so then you don't live your life to optimal and you start somewhere blaming another for your miseries.
Yes. You always feel, oh, I missed the chance, you know. I wish I had done it 10 years back. Because I couldn't do that time, that's why I'm not earning enough today. Because of so and so.
I met a family the other day in therapy where it was very evident all of them eventually came up with some sort of a blame on another. The mother was blaming her children for not having a career. She spent all her energy at home, where she's a learned lady. Children now grown up, there were two in question, the boy and the girl. The boy doesn't have a job after an engineering degree because according to him, I didn't want to study engineering. I wanted to be a sports person.
That is so.
And blames the parents for it. Today he's sitting at home and he's not gotten a job after his graduation. So he's unhappy about the situation and he wants to transfer his unhappiness onto another. So who's this obvious another? The parents.
Yes.
The girl is studying medicine again, and she's a good student, she's been sent to one of the premier institutes in the country to study medicine. She resents the fact that she's not able to stay at home.
Absolutely. So it's all a case of miscommunication, facades, and blind
And the
spots.
father, it doesn't end there.
Oh
The
my
father,
God.
yes, of course, there's the father also involved in it. The father feels that I have done everything to my capacity to make this family happy and joyous and whatever
Provided the means.
their
rather.
needs and wants are all taken care of, yet none of them are happy today.
Yes. So this brings us to a very pertinent point. Why is it that even if we have everything, why is it that we don't feel happy? Is it because there is a lot of potential in us for growth? Is there a hidden area which nobody knows about? I
Which
don't know.
we are
Others don't
not
know.
aware.
Absolutely. So rather than being in that limbo, let's just say, talking about this family that you're talking about, now the boy has studied engineering. Perhaps he studied because of his parents and he realizes that he doesn't want to become an engineer. Now, if he actually sat down and thought about it, what is my untapped potential? With this engineering degree, if I don't want to be an engineer, what are my other options? If he took feedback from his parents and maybe from professionals who could guide him, imagine the sea of possibility which would open out to him.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So it boils down to communication,
Absolutely.
which we are so hesitant to.
Yes.
Because we're constantly thinking that the other will not get me.
Yes. Or we are constantly very defensive of our own actions, I did it because I wanted your own good. And all this does not help anybody because all it leads to is a lot of turmoil in relationships and a lot of heartache. Now imagine a scenario where everybody was open to feedback and everybody knew that they would not get the other's perspective. But if it works for you, it's okay for you. If it works for me, it's okay for me. And what doesn't, we have the personal responsibility and the means to develop from there.
Today, we will also want to discuss a few adjectives which could help us in this self-discovery process.
Yes.
We've come up with about 10 words that we play with. The first word is
Able.
able.
So able, if you look at it, it's a very simple word, but a lot of times we often say, oh, I won't be able to do it. Now if I actually just felt that yes, I can do it, I'm able to do it.
We question our ability all the time.
Yes.
Pragati, you're a fantastic speaker.
Thank you, Devlina. Thank you.
But tell me something, if you had heard this before, instantly you would think, are you sure?
Yeah, of course I would say that because I know I have a husky voice. I know it's a little different. I don't have a typically melodious voice, and there are people who feel that one ought to talk in a particular way to be a good speaker. Do you feel that?
So, again, like the reason why we're giving personal examples here is to understand how we question our ability all the time.
Absolutely.
We are capable of a lot more than we give ourselves credit for.
Yes, and each one has a journey to make, and each one has been given the tools. Today, if I could speak, imagine somebody who could not speak at all. For that person, every sound is musical.
Absolutely.
And we are into set notions, we want to box ourselves. So, who is unable?
And mostly our inabilities are in comparison to someone.
Yes, we are always competing and comparing, whether we agree or not. When will we break those shackles?
Let's break them now.
Absolutely.
क्योंकि अभी नहीं तो कभी नहीं.
Yes. In this, the model by two psychologists called Joseph and Harry is very, very pertinent. It gives us a very simple way to look into all dimensions of us. It's called the Johari window. It's like when you look out of the window, everything becomes very clear. So what they did is they divided our basic mind into 4 zones. The zone of free activity, blind spot, facade, and our potential. Would you talk a little bit about that?
Alright, let me again simplify it. There's a lot of technically used words
Yes.
all over the net about Johari window. These 4 walls, let's divide it into, say, the first portion of the wall, which talks about things that are known to you and me. About
Everybody
me.
knows about us.
Yeah. You know about me, and even I know about myself.
Yes. For example, things like which school did you go to? What is
I'm a
your
psychologist.
age? Yes.
I'm a mother. I'm a wife. I do certain work in certain places.
Yes.
These are things you know about me and I know about myself.
Yes.
And none of us are pretending about it.
Yes.
You don't want to negate these information about me, and I don't want to hide them about me.
We are very
So-
comfortable. That
so
area
this-
of comfort.
There's a lot of information about us which we are very comfortable about. So that is one portion of the window. The next one is something that is known to you about me but not known to me.
Absolutely. That is the area of a blind spot. Like sometimes, Devlina, when you talk, you frown a little bit. Were you aware of that?
No, I didn't know.
Yes. So today, if you have a good rapport, you're open to my feedback and you're okay with it. So if I tell you that I know that about you, so it's okay. I know when people lie or they give you silly excuses, it really makes you mad. That again will fall in an area of.
Again, I didn't know about
Okay.
that.
So that is our blind spot. Now what happens is normally when somebody points out a blind spot, we become a little defensive.
Right.
Okay, I'm not like this. How could you say that? Now just imagine if you're open to it, how would it help you?
So I would know that next time something like this happens to me, I know that I react this way about a situation. Either I ease out, or I do something about it, or even if I don't want to do something about it, I'm aware that this is how I react.
Yes. Again, another blind spot is that people are so inspired by you that they really have changed careers to be like you. Do you know about that?
It's very flattering, Pragati, but seriously, I didn't know.
I've heard it in class sometimes, like
I
if
have-
ma'am can do it, of course I can. I didn't know she was younger than me. So see, sometimes our blind spots are such that we don't even know that people think so positively about us.
True.
If I got feedback, I would be so motivated if I was open to feedback.
True. Now the third portion of this Johari window is some information about me that I'm holding back. Something that I know about myself, but I'm carefully keeping it away from others.
Yes. There are certain secrets which everybody has, or certain not so comfortable things that people make fun of. Like today, I'm going to tell it to you. Of course, we are discussing it. When I was in school, my friends would say, Raghavi, you have a pakoda nose. You know, and that is something which, after I grew up, I remember when I was married, I had all these people who would say, "Wow, you have such a pretty nose." I was like, "Okay, thank you so much."
Okay, you would carefully hold back this information.
Absolutely.
We all do it. We all do it. It's just to be aware that we do it.
Yes. But imagine if all the time, if I had something that I'm just completely uncomfortable about sharing. For example, perhaps how my addiction is so clear now and why it was not so clear earlier on. A lot of times we hold back information about
I
ourselves.
think, you know what, when one of these windows become a little wider, that's where a little bit of problem starts creeping in.
Yes.
If I start keeping too many secrets and constantly try and make a pretense that others should not know much about me.
Yes.
So what happens then is my whole energy is focused on keeping those secrets.
Yes. Like for
So-
example, my child studies very well. Nothing goes wrong in my relationships.
Oh yeah.
I don't have any financial trouble. These are the kind of common masks that
We
most
all
people
wear,
wear.
and no, and funny thing is we go to any length to prove to another that all is okay in my life.
without realizing that what a lot of times our mask slips and it becomes a blind spot for us.
Totally, totally. So this leads to some sort of a lack of balance when one of the windows increase too much.
Absolutely.
The fourth one is this zone where I am not aware of myself at all, nor is another. So this is a complete dark place. This
It's
is
hidden.
it's hidden. This is complete lack of awareness.
But you know, the beauty is, this is also the reason that a lot of times people feel that I can't do this. I can't talk on stage. I can't get a job which will support me. Because they are not even aware of their hidden potential. And if all that came to their awareness, if people actually thought that I had this treasure trove, which is probably hidden from light, but only if I explored it further, I would be able to bring my best foot forward.
But practically, what happens is there are a lot of people. Most of all of us have it,
Yeah.
but for some it is very important. This lack of awareness of a major portion of one's life, which is not tapped by another also.
Yes.
See, a lot of times children, school-going children,
Mhm.
they don't know about a lot of their talents.
Yes.
And it's so ironical that the situation, education system is such that there is nobody, no teacher, no mentor who can really look into this and tap this potential in an individual student. So what happens is this ambiguity, this grey area, this dark area remains with a person all that person's life.
Yes. And you know, with tools like the Johari window, once the self-awareness increases, this dark zone becomes smaller and smaller and goes into the area of free activity. You start becoming comfortable with things which don't work in your life. You start becoming comfortable with things which are working. When people give you feedback, you tend to take it as constructive criticism.
Yeah,
most
because
of
I
the
think
time.
shame in yourself, self blaming and shaming goes away.
Yes.
Somewhere you start feeling that this is what I am, this is what I bring to the table, and take it or leave it.
Absolutely. And sometimes it is, I'm not okay, and that is okay.
Totally, totally. So we will wind our conversation today with this thought that I'm not okay and that's okay. I don't need to pretend. Whom am I pretending to?
Absolutely. And the more I become aware of myself, my pluses and my minuses, the more I'm prepared to meet life at whichever pace it's going.
So let's unpretend.
Absolutely. So, bye bye, everyone.
Bye, ciao, see ya.